Shiva and Sadziu will take to the... Do we call it a battlefield? What are we? The globe, I guess, the planet, and get things going. We are playing moving. It's best of fives still, as we get this game ready. The cams are on. The players seem to be ready. So you know what? Let's just kick things off. And Siki, now that I have you here, because you and I have never had the chance of getting a 1-to-1 like this, why don't you, in what I assume to be a somewhat inconsequential first round here, just take 5 seconds to maybe talk a little bit about how you got into Geoguessr and what makes the game special to you.
Yeah, I think I got into Geoguessr just because I was doing a vacational year after I finished my school. I went to New Zealand, and so I spent a lot of time there, and I basically drove around the whole country. So when I came back, I was like, is there maybe a game where I can look around New Zealand and maybe try to guess where I am? And that's how I kind of found Geoguessr.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I'm not quite sure how I got into Geoguessr, but I think that kind of makes sense.
It would make sense. It would make sense. First round, I said it was going to be inconsequential, and well, I guess 350 damage isn't too much, but we've seen games be won by less. So we'll see Shiina off to a phenomenal start here. He was a bit off initially, but manages to correct himself onto the line again as we now go to... Oh, I'm not good with the follow cast, but is that Nigeria?
Yep, the police car following you. Nigeria was very nice for having it in both generations, so in the old coverage and the new coverage. Get some escort cars, so they... stuck to their meta.
School, that was the instant info. That's when you just 5k'd. School, great, I know exactly where it is. Or what?
Be surprised.
We'll see. It's actually a bit, I guess it's also a matter of the pace of which we've played today. As we see these guys again, little damage being done, but unfortunately for Sadziu, damage gone the way of his opponent as these guys even out once again. But I guess it's part of the pace of the games we've had today. It's been very fast. There's been at least one of the two who's just within the first 10 seconds, almost every single game, come up with a guess, unless if they were like some of the really weird ones. So we haven't really seen any 5Kers. We have had 3 total, I guess. There was the one round where both of them got it, and then one where one had it. But it's been very narrow. But again, that's as much as that's kind of the achievement when you play solo games, like that's the aim to 5K everything. Talk to me a bit about why it isn't when you play duels.
It's just because of the point system. That's the very easy answer. Like there's no incentivization of like 5K'ing. It's like maybe gets you like 10 points if you just the time you spend on actually 5K'ing the exact point gives your opponent more time. So I think it's just you're weighing off the risk of your opponent maybe finding something that could help him.
So are we in a world where Siki and Toby makes the Geoguessr rules for 2025? And you know how like in darts, I know they all have to go for like the triple 20s or whatnot, but I want to have a world where if you hit the bullseye, because that's technically the center spot with the big red mark, as we do get a nice guess here. A lot of damage coming through in round 3 as well. 1,000 towards Sadziu. But should there be a thing where, for example, now it's 2 times multiplier, whereas if you get a 5K, you get the multiplier damage from the next round. So had he 5K'd that one, that would have been 2.5 instead of 2. Could that be a thing to make 5K'ing more rewarding?
Yeah, I think there have been discussions for a long time at this point, how you incentivize 5K'ing and how do you reward it in points. And I think there's not a good solution right now, because there's many things you could do. You increase maybe the multiplier your damage does, or maybe you're like 1 point closer, so you 5K.
Or the damage you do, you regain in health.
I don't know.
I don't know,
there's no good answer, I think.
Maybe that's a bit
very hard to balance out.
Yeah, that's why I don't get to make tournament formats, because I just come up with crazy ideas and watch the world burn. It's not good. Don't allow me those important roles.
Okay.
Well, we are hopping up towards the northwest, towards Alaska, and once again, these guys, while none of them completely on point, are very much within the same reach. So coming into round 5, We do have a 1,200 point lead for Shiina. Do you think this is something that's going to materialize coming into the final couple of rounds? Oh my lord, this is beautiful.
It's a very nice round. I think the map kind of decides this. If it's easy rounds, that could matter. If it's hard rounds, then it all might be for nothing.
Is there regional knowledge advantages that either of these two have over the other? I mean, we've talked about Shiina and his Japan knowledge. Obviously, I mean, both being Japanese, but also knowing Japan pretty well. Is there any area where you go, if we go, let's say, Australia, Russia, whatever, this guy's going to take it home?
I think there is, especially Shiina, I see a lot on like country-specific maps of big countries. He's always on the leaderboard in like the top 10 scores in no move. So he really tries to be good at them, but I think that's just every player that is competitive. You have to be good in those countries. So even if I say, okay, Shiina's good at big countries, so will Sadziu be, because there's no way you can be on a very high level and not know these countries. It's just how the game is.
Oh, once again, close to one another. A little bit of damage done, 300 at that towards Sadziu, as Shiina continues to extend his lead. As we hop on over to round number 6 now is when the real damage starts coming in. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. Chat, we've done it. Have we done it? No, I'm not sure anymore. I keep second guessing. This is why I can never become a pro. I second guess myself, even when it probably is Denmark. Somehow I'll make it happen that it isn't. This looks Danish.
Denmark is very good for moving because there's information on pretty much every intersection.
The bad thing about the fields in Denmark, I mean, while the country is small... Wait, do we have a city there? Køstrup. Okay, so we're definitely in the west, I think. If I get this wrong, it's so embarrassing. This country is so small that it should be so easy to know all of Denmark. But yeah, I feel like the fields in and around Denmark, they're so identical, whether you go like to one end of the country or the other.
Yeah, I agree. They're always the same size, always surrounded by like a tree row. It's kind of very iconic.
Oh, there's a 3-row. Fort Middelfart, there's the center island. Further on the west. Yep, exactly. Over there we go. You can see just on the western side. It's always fun for non-Danish speakers that you have a city called Middelfart. But, yeah. How Denmark works. It's the island of Fyn. Very nice place. Usually the place that people go, yep, it's where you just go on the highway on one side and come out on the other.
That's exactly what I did when I drove to Norway like 1 month ago. I just went through that island without looking around.
Exactly, 26 minutes and you're over on the other side.
Yeah,
that's Denmark for you. But now it looks like we are back in Japan, I suppose. Maybe a big round here.
Already found the info and already locked it in, so no time wasted.
I mean, Sadziu hasn't looked. He's looking very committedly at the polls here. He has not found the same street sign yet.
I think he just doesn't know the town, so this could be very big damage.
Oh, it is.
Is it game? Yeah.
Yes, it is. 6,000 damage done. Massive. Massive for Shiina to not only win the round, but win it in Japan as well. He got a 200 damage bump in the previous match that he had, but solid play coming through. We got Japan, we got Denmark. What is not to like here in the first 2 semifinals that will be coming your way as I get this next one set up? Tell me a bit about what we saw here. Anything that stood out to you in this match, Siggy?
Well, I kind of like the refreshing like reduction of pace. They took some time at least. Yeah, I'm kind of more of a friend of that because why play a moving game without moving? It's kind of like...
True. Is what all the moving players said to the no-move players that kept forcing them to guess quickly, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, both players just handshake on it. Okay, nobody's going to move. We just instant. Like, I saw, like, bad guessing NMPZ pretty much. So, in a moving game.
Yeah.
You know, fair enough.
Maybe this is all the no-move players getting a... the NMPC players going, well, if we don't get to play it before round 5, then let's just force it in round 3, or round 1 for that matter.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping we see an NMPZ today, because
yeah, maybe.
NMPZ always hype.
We haven't gotten there yet, but maybe we will, and you know what? What better way to do potentially just that than hop into the very next round. I'm just going to update the scoreboard real quick. There we go, 1-0 to Shiina as we get this no-move round started. What are we looking at? Take me through what we see here.
Well, octagonal pole, immediately.
Mexico.
Mexico.
Yes.
Exactly.
You see, I learned stuff. Not a lot, but stuff.
As to where in Mexico, though, that is another question.
It's somewhere between the western shoreline and the eastern one.
I think you might be right.
This is why I'm a caster. I am so good at making it sound like I know stuff without knowing stuff.
No, the question is, will somebody just go downtown CDMX or will both go for a region guess?
I mean, that's what you do, right? That's what you do. If you don't know, just go to the capital and hope for the best. But I do feel like some of the more competitive maps that we are seeing, they tend to punish you a bit for just saying, oh, well, obviously it's a capital. Or what?
Yeah. They have very different guesses here,
Definitely
both on the other side of the shore.
Oh, and it's Shiina again. Solid guess coming in. 1,600 damage in round 1. That's going to be the highest of the day. I mean, round 1 damage, that is.
And that has to be even more confidence now because he has not lost a single round this tournament yet, and he's already up so much.
And Sadziu again,
kind of what he needs.
Straight up with the Rubik's Cube. Brrr, got to keep the brain at full speed.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why that would be like a thing to do. Just get your mind off the game for a few seconds because you kind of like overthink your mistakes too much. And you're like kind of hard on yourself because you have nobody else to blame in a one-on-one situation. So I think that could be a thing to do.
Definitely could be. See now, not a whole lot of, I mean, no signs, it's all forest, all nature. But what do you see here that they might too?
Yeah, we have these like cacti plants, kinda, and I think they're very Mexican. But you also get them in like South America, so I can see why you go like Chile maybe.
This is a massive like indecision. Do you go Mexico? Do you go South Chile? It could be game if you get it wrong, but he's committing north.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the Mexico side right now just because of the vegetation, but I could also be wrong. But they're both there,
he commits it. Good thing he did. Had he gone Chile, that could have been game over. He won't win this round, but you know what? I think you take 35 damage over going 0-2.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in 2 rounds. That's kind of not what you want.
It's not something you see very often, that's for sure. I think we had it once in the European qualifiers. But that was also, I mean, I love the way that it was set up in the studio, that all the players, the ones that weren't playing, were sat next to each other watching. Everyone jumped out of their chairs when it was a 2-game over and done. Or 2 rounds, sorry. It's very, very much not something you see too often.
Here we have a very like iconic landscape and road. I think both will get it. I think both are on the exact right stretch, so...
Ooh. Any 5Kers? No. Not quite there. But close enough.
Kind of shows the level we are on right now because...
No, it's insane.
Huge country and both are within like 20 kilometers. And Russia is fucking massive.
He's literally on the road.
Yeah.
No, it's insane. It's, I mean... I think the world's safety nets have gotten better with Geoguessr being a thing. Because I feel like, you know, like FBI and all the secret services of various countries in the world have just looked at Geoguessr pros and just started hiring them. Everyone's going to say that they're not hired by whatever like network is in their country, but we all know. You're all hired by them because you're experts on, I mean, everything that is geography.
Oh, I'm sadly not allowed to confirm or deny. So,
if I talk, I will be in danger.
We have 2 very different guesses.
Yeah?
This could be game for either player. I'm kind of more on the Alpine, like maybe Austria, Italy, but we'll see.
Right in the middle.
What's the border of Austria and Italy?
Yep, right in between, and none of them on point, but for Sadziu, this is huge. A big chunk, 1,500 damage done towards Shiina. And yeah, I mean... Finally, a bit of a punch back in the other direction.
Yeah, those are the rounds I always like. We have a very like roller road with not a lot of info. There were some rock walls, which usually are very common in like Italy and Austria, but you can get them elsewhere as well, obviously.
Oh, let's see now. Animal meta in the field. Cows yet again. Oh, wait, is that an eagle?
Some
Look at
flying.
that bird. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
We should have like David Attenborough come in. Whenever, if you could do like a voice changer thing, whenever it's animals in the background, we just have really calm guy talking about animals.
I don't know how he sounds.
Very British accent and knows everything about. Like if you've ever watched the Animal Planet video about animals where they zoom in and watch, well, animals, then you would know. In any case, Brazil seems to be where Sadziu is lingering. Are you in agreement with this decision?
I'm kind of with Shiina on this one, but it's a very hard round to guess because we're so far away from the actual trees that could be helpful.
Ooh, he's looking for the
he's
northwest.
flying very far north.
Oh, okay. East is where we're going. I thought for a second he would go up there. That could have been game. He's still going to be off, and with the multipliers now being 3, it is getting into danger territory, I should say, as we go from a big open field to not so much open field.
This round, I don't know if anyone will get the country here. This looks like a very, very hard round to get.
Give me a country. Right off the top of your head. Go.
Let me get one zoom at least. I'll go with Hungary here.
Hungary?
But I could see a lot of stuff.
I will say Romania.
We have a Hungary hover at least from Sadziu. Interesting. There's no real reason for Hungary here, I think.
I mean, if you say it and he says it, there must be some sort of... Oh!
No.
Game? Question mark?
I think this will be a game because I don't know if this is probably not Germany, which would be the middle. So I kind of think we'll see a winner here.
Definitely could be. Let's see. Let's see where it's gonna be. It is Hungary on the border to Romania as well. I feel like we both earned it. One guy that didn't is Shiina, because he is gonna fall. Sadziu able to take it back 1-1 in a very, very dominant fashion here in the end. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised I got the country because I'm looking at a very small window. So I had even less to work with.
True. But you got it down. You're not in the seat of pressure. I mean, you're casting. Yeah. Maybe that's pressure in a different way. But we talked to Jake about it as well, being, in the tournament, in that seat. And obviously, you've been there before as well. The pressure that is on, knowing everyone sat there watching, everyone is judging your every move, going, "Lul, he couldn't even get Kenya right." It's a intimidating place to be, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So even if those are like maybe kind of mistakes, even though that round was kind of just getting the vibe down, it's definitely way harder to get it under pressure.
Definitely is. And you know what? Let's keep them under pressure, shall we? Let's go straight on into the next match as we go back to moving for round number 3. I'm going to update the scoreboard here as well. Boop. But anything in particular that stood out there in the previous game to you, Siggy? What we just saw?
No, just very hard rounds, I would say. The map is very good, I think. Because there's a mix of easy rounds and hard rounds. Because that Brazil round, I don't know if there's a lot of players that get like the coastal... I don't know where exactly it was, like Espírito Santo or something. That was a very interesting round. But if there's any like Brazil expert in the game that maybe gets that, then he just wins on the spot, which is always interesting.
See, very Eastern lock-in. Brazil already, and we see Shiina going in a similar, albeit a bit further south, direction, still somewhat nearby, and both of them pretty much on point, solid start. But again, 600 damage coming through to kick things off. That's we're hitting some pretty high round 1 damages, despite the lack of multipliers.
Always good to start off with some damage.
Said the guy that didn't take it.
Yeah.
What are we seeing here? Take me through what we're seeing.
What, we're just back in Mexico. We have a Mexican-style sign there. I think if you zoom into the octagonal pole, it's probably octagonal as well, but these players are good enough that they don't need that. Yeah, I think we're like in the south somewhere.
When you have these long roads where you're going to be somewhat limited in street signs and whatnot, do you just go, great, I'm not going to get street info, I'm just going to look at, like foliage and whatnot? Or do you full commit to just hold down that space bar and hope that you get to intersection at some point?
It always depends who I'm playing. If I know, okay, the other player maybe doesn't like moving, so I will always try. Because even on these long roads, there can always be a marker at any point giving you the road number. So That will be very important on a big round like this. They have very different guesses again. Oh, Shiina switches last second. Wow, what a switch.
The commitment to the side, it doesn't net him that many points more than he probably would have anyway, but still, I mean, I feel like the later a player starts changing their positions, because we saw it a couple of times in the previous rounds as well. I feel like it's, I don't want to say lack of confidence, but there's definitely some pressure when you see a guy second guess himself and react to the extent that with a half second left, he just goes completely somewhere else.
It's always the question whether you're a guy that likes to last second switch. I'm more like, nah, I'm not gonna switch my guess anymore because I will just
You'll go
be more
too far
angry.
off.
I feel like no matter what I do, I'll get it wrong. It's like in that situation.
I get what you're saying. Winnipeg is one, Winnipeg is the other. A bit further north, though. Let's see. Ooh, he could have gone even further and gotten more off of it. But still, around 1,000 damage done. 1,200, actually. Damage done towards Sadziu as Shiina now back in the lead. Still 1-1 score as we are in the last of the moving matches here in... This is beautiful. Kind of blocks off the whole road, but still, it's there.
Also a good country for moving because there's road numbers everywhere and they are ordered, so if you know how they're ordered, then it's very easy find.
Let's see if they can get the info fast enough. Instant
north
north side
Amsterdam.
Northern Netherlands locked in. Shiina is going to say, oh, you're going to give me 15 seconds? Sure, I'll use them. It seems like they are going to be very close to one another. Sadziu able to again chip up a bit, or chip off a bit of the health of Shiina. Solid damage coming through as we head on into round number 5. This one has, well, we saw heavy hits back and forth all the time in the previous rounds. This one I feel like has, I guess, finally slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, I think generally moving in European countries will always not be that much damage because nobody's gonna miss the country here, just because. If you don't know it, you will definitely find a sign of some sort. Now it's just, will they find these towns? I don't know. I've never heard of any of these. So,
well,
maybe will just end.
Quick login from Sadziu, who will plunk it better. Shiina, again, I mean, if you give me 15 seconds, I'll use any of all of it. It's always nice to see, I think, that he does take an extra time now, going further towards the west, and pays off for him. Gets close once again.
Yeah, he likes his last second switches.
I feel
always
like,
feels good when it succeeds, but when it doesn't, it's the worst feeling ever.
True. I feel like Back was trying to do it to him as well, where he forced him to guess quickly, but he never really, it never scared him off, and he came out victorious. I mean, 3-0 in that match too. So nice to see that he is keeping the same composure of just being, controlled kind of all the way through it.
Always depends who you're playing. You kind of have to adapt to your opponent. This one, I don't know if any one of these can read Cyrillic. I'm pretty sure Shiina can, but Bulgaria can be very hard to get good info on, especially when it's not a hand-picked map.
Well, we definitely have flags. That does help a little bit, in case you were playing and you weren't aware of what country you were in. East side, Bulgaria, or somewhat east side for Sadziu, as, again, I mean, as we've seen in the past, he's gonna take every second he can to dial his guess in. He's gonna go further north, or maybe, nope, not gonna commit to it. It is Rus up towards the north, and these two guys pretty much side by side, only 200 damage in.
Yeah, I think he was taking the remaining time to maybe look for a town name he saw, but was probably very incredible small or hidden by the big label of Rus.
It do be like that sometimes. The big boys come in, push off the small ones, and it's just gonna be that way. Now we headed. I couldn't tell you where this is. You tell me.
Well, it does look like Greece with the wooden poles.
Okay. Well, seems like
Sadziu not wasting time.
Nope. 15 seconds to work with for Shiina. He will go Greece as well,
but
he's gonna go east. All times multiplier.
Ooh, he found something.
Whoa, he definitely did. Is it game?
Yeah.
No,
Not
not
quite.
game. My math is off. Still 2,000
But
health. It's still early days. I got excited too soon, but good chunk of damage done towards Sadziu, who had run a couple of rounds now, taking Shiina down to 4,900 as we now head into round number 8.
That was very impressive, knowing that Bins have information and reading like Greek language. Very impressed.
For those of you guys tuning in just now, we are in the first semi-final of 2 to be played today, and these guys are fighting for a spot at the Geoguessr World Cup, which will be taking place next month, live in Stockholm. It's gonna be an absolutely insane show of some of the best, or the best, Geoguessr players in the world, taking on one another to try and bring home the World Championship. E6.
Looking forward. E6, longest road in Norway.
Ooh, all the way to the far, far, far east. This is where the sun doesn't come up for half a year. Or close there too, I guess. Round number 9 again. I mean, it's been back and forth, back and forth. The big hit came in the previous, or well, the round before the last round from Shiina, but still, I mean, Sadziu not out of it yet. Round 9 of 10 now, 5 times multiply. What are we looking at here, Siggy?
Looking at the South Africa, definitely in the south somewhere, I think, with this mountain ridge. Yeah, maybe Shiina's lead could matter in the end, because we're looking at 2 rounds left, and this one, I think both will just go somewhere south. So we could just be looking at a round 10, and with a points difference of 2.6k, but let's see where they go in this round.
Yups, there plenty of text on him, but no city info, no regional info. Shiina is going to continue moving forward. I'm trying to think back, how many times have we seen Shiina guess first?
I would say 0.
Yeah, I feel like it's always
sure.
been Sadziu who has gone with a hunch, not opting to fully 5k anything. And, well, here he is again, going first.
Yeah, it seems like he has like found a town name, but he's looking for it, he can't find it. Still.
Plenty of damage done, down to just 1,000 health coming into the last round. Sadziu needs to hit big in order to bring this one home. Down by 3,700 health as we head into the last round here. I mean...
Ooh, and this will be devastating for Sadziu because we are in Cambodia with this car.
So is there any way that he wins this? Or does Shiina have to make a massive blunder?
There is a way, but I think if he guesses the straight
the
middle, there's no way he will lose.
He already has the country, and he's gonna full-on plonk it, send it right down the middle. And, yeah, Sadziu need to 5k this, and even that might be hoping.
He has to go max west or max east, something very far off the middle.
True.
That's his only chance to win.
Does he realize? Goes off to the side. It's gonna be Shiina again. GG round number 3 goes the way of the Japanese player Shiina. Hello everyone and welcome to the Geoguessr Wildcard Series 3rd edition, or the 3rd seat I suppose we are fighting for today. I'm Toby, as you can see on my right. I am joined by Diono, and Diono, please, for everyone, I mean obviously everyone here will know who you are, but in case there are somebody who don't, who are you and how are you doing today?
Hi everyone, I'm Diono. I'm a Geoguessr Twitch streamer, I guess, and a content creator. From Hawaii originally, but live in California now. And I'll be at the Geoguessr World Cup in Sweden in September. So
nice.
See everyone there.
Exciting stuff. I'm happy to have you on board. Of course, we will in a second get into the games. We'll get all these incredibly intense matches going forward. There's a lot for these players to fight for. But before we get there, I feel like if there are some new viewers out there who might need a little explainer on what's going on, what are the game modes, what are we watching here? Could you quickly, as I bring up the game modes on your screen here, could you quickly just go over what are the different game modes and how does this, game function as a whole?
Yeah, so we got 3 modes on deck today. Each game, or each match, is a best of 5 series. We're going to do moving, no move, and NMPZ. So I believe it's 2 moving games, 2 no move games, and then if we get to a game 5, it's going to be an NMPZ game.
The decider.
So, yeah, the absolute ultimate decider. And the moving games, in which we can move freely with no restrictions, as you can see. And there is going to be a timer for each team, or each player.
1 minute.
I believe it's 1 minute.
Yes.
And then
if I've set the settings up correctly, it will indeed be 1 minute. If not, they'll yell and we'll have to redo the game.
Hopefully everything goes completely smoothly.
Of course it does. And now we've cursed it, so now everything is going to go wrong. But it's fine. That's why we are here. We're the experts. We're bringing you all the action.
Exactly.
Continue. Exactly. Sorry, I interrupted you. How am I?
No worries. On no move, we get spawned in at a specific point, and we can only look at the pano that's around us in a 360 degree. And then NMPZ, we're only looking at that one still image that we spawn in on. So my favorite mode, NMPZ, personally.
Okay.
Less stuff to do for me. Because no move and moving, more mouse movement. And as an old man, I prefer the NMPZ.
The mechanical skills stay with the youth. Is that what it is? I think it's incredibly impressive because I hear from a lot of players that they do like NMPC quite a bit, and I look at that one frame of a bush in the middle of nowhere and I go, how players do you know where this is? But I mean, they'll know what plant grew before. I mean, I feel like in order to be a professional Geoguessr player, you also kind of have to be a biologist and a typographer. If that's even a word, I don't know. But I find it incredibly impressive with what these guys are able to do. You included, Dio. Now let's, as we've now explained, hopefully you viewers know what this game is all about. Let's take a look at the brackets as well and see just exactly. It does say we'll be right back. Now it doesn't, because we are here, we are ready. And as you can see on your screen right now, the first match that we'll see in just a second is Bad Geo versus Shiina. Tell me a bit about these two players and what you maybe expect to see from this battle coming in just a moment.
Yeah, I think this should be a really good battle. Bag is someone that I've played with a pretty good amount. He's very good at all 3 modes, I would say. His strongest mode is probably no move. So he's quite proficient at moving and NMPZ as well, but he's more of a no move player than the other 2 modes. And actually, that's the same that goes with Shiina as well. I think Shiina's more known as a no-move player, but he's very proficient in moving, and not too bad in NMPZ himself. So I think they're pretty balanced in terms of their skill sets. So it should be a very, very hotly contested match, I would say.
Now, one thing that I really love about this wildcard kind of portion of the qualifiers for the World Cup is that, of course, we've had our Americas qualifiers, our European qualifiers, and our Asia qualifiers, but now we're mixing everything up. And I know that there isn't maybe as much, and please correct me if you think I'm wrong, but there isn't as much meta, and there's not the in-depth European meta. Everyone are good at different things regardless of location, but I still love the fact that we get a Japanese player up against the British player coming into this, because I feel like there is, while it might not be full-on metas, there's still some difference in whether you're, just the way you approach the game if you come from Japan as compared to if you come from UK.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like Japanese players are very focused on moving, and a lot of them are very good at moving towards info. They're very good at, obviously they can read Japanese. So being in Japan and being such a large country, especially lengthwise, is insane when it comes to pinpointing and stuff. And it can be for a lot of points if they are able to get the right area.
That's why I feel like I've been born in the wrong. Like, for many reasons, I like the fact that I'm born in Denmark. But for the sake of GeoGuessr advantages, I feel like even if someone gets it completely off with a 5 times multiplier, they still only get like -2 points. It's not punishing enough for my opponents when I have 5k Denmark every time.
Right, you can just click Odense, and it's not too much of a hit to your points.
Exactly.
But Bag as well, in terms of his UK skill, I feel like, he's very good at Europe. But he's pretty well balanced, I would say, throughout all of the continents.
Okay.
He doesn't really have a specific focus. I think we can look towards him. Maybe, I know he doesn't know how to read Cyrillic, as I cannot as well, as a lot of GeoGuessr players can. So even in moving in Russia, I think that might be maybe a struggle for him moving forward. So we'll see how he does that against Shiina, who I think is familiar with Cyrillic. So yeah, we'll see how that plays.
And that's definitely one of the, if not the country that can punish you the hardest. I feel like Russia, that is. I mean, it's insane how wide the country is, but also how much. I sometimes feel like it's the same everywhere, but we've seen it from some of the very, very committed guys that go out and who is it? Oh no, is it Finbar that had like the really in-depth document on Russia? How you can see the differences in terrain. Where I just go, it's like how many shades of the same building exist, and he will tell you all 9 trillion different ones. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. But you know what? We've jabbered on long enough. I think it's about time that we get these guys in on the server, we get this game started, and get this tournament on the road. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. So let's hop on in to game and get this started. Hopefully, I've set everything up correctly. Hopefully, everything is good to go as we get the 2 lads onto the server. Both webcams are on. Everything looks to be good. I'm not getting spam DM'd by admin saying I've broken something. So without further ado, let's get this first round started. Right off the bat, this looks German to me, but we'll let the players do the talking as we get into game number 1. Is it German with these bullets?
Yeah.
Is it German bullets?
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's German here.
Yes.
The bollards are both in Germany and Luxembourg.
It's probably like one of the 4 bullets that I know. So it's very lucky that we got this one for the first game. It made me look good. I like it.
Toby, I've seen you put in the work. I've lurked in your streams a couple of times when you were doing some GeoGuessr. So,
Yeah. I will admit that it has been a little while since I've been on, but there's a good sign there. Are they headed each there? No, they're going the same direction, but there's a lot of info to be had there if you know some, maybe some German, like, national forests or something.
Yeah, this is looking quite nondescript, I think. Like, I would probably lean further south just because the north in Germany is obviously so flat.